Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon, my beautiful ones, my wise ones, and my melanated ones. Today is Monday, January 27th, 2025. I am Wisdom Reborn, and I hope that you had a good weekend. I had a wonderful weekend. I kind of detached from social media for the weekend so that I could spend time with myself, my grandson, and I needed the time, and I'm glad that I did because, whew, y'all, it was perfect timing because I woke up this morning to some news that I wasn't happy to hear. And it's okay because now that the news is out, now that I got the order, I can talk about the situation. So the company that I want to talk about today is, yep, that's it. You see that? Now I'm a first off say, when I ordered this T-shirt, I ordered this T-shirt in a 2X, and the manager that I sent the order, my size into, thought it was funny. She sent me a medium. Thank you very much. Because the medium that you sent me, I can now fit. Now, will I wear it again? No. But I found it digging around in the closet a few days ago, and I was wondering why I all of a sudden found this T-shirt. And when I tried it on this morning, it fit. So I said, I'm gonna go ahead and give y'all a good old shout out. Now, I want to talk to y'all about an event that happened in my life that I have alluded to several times but have not been able to freely speak on. So, the name of the company you see is GoHealth. It is a Medicare insurance agency. Well, not just Medicare, it's an insurance agency. Um, and it's a pretty big company. While I was working there, I worked there for a little over 2 years. While I was there, I got my, first off, let me say this. I got my insurance license, yeah, while I was working there. And in the first year, I was in the top 10% of salespeople during AEP. And it felt good. That's annual enrollment period. It felt really, really good. I worked extremely long hours while I was helping my daughter who was going through breast cancer. She is cancer free. I'm so glad about it. She's cancer free, and but it's just that my level of loyalty and devotion to making sure that seniors and disabled people were able to receive Medicare insurance that would assist them throughout the year that they were on it was highly important to me. One of the reasons why it was and still is so important to me is because I've spoken to y'all about me having fibromyalgia, and fibromyalgia is a debilitating illness that they say has a lot to do with childhood trauma, which is yet another reason why I so gladly tell my story. Because if indeed fibromyalgia is based upon childhood trauma, then fibromyalgia is an illness that can be eradicated by making sure that we do the shadow work once we're old enough, but also it should help hold parents accountable, because your actions with your child have a lot to do with how their bodies perceive and handle stress in the long run. It forces your brain to process information differently, which causes a lot of stress. It causes depression, anxiety. It causes your it causes your joints. So it causes your nerves to become overactive, and once your nerves are overactive, it causes your muscles to tighten and sometimes spasm, which causes at that point pain in your joints, and it can be very, very painful. So when I say me sitting here and talking to you all about it, it's therapeutic for me. It's not only therapeutic for me, I know it's healing for other people because I speak on things that some people don't want to talk about. And a lot of people don't necessarily want to hear about it, but the ones that need to hear about it get confirmation and consoling that their walk, that the things that they're dealing with are not just in their mind. So I'll tell y'all about a call that I had with a client who was on the West Coast. He said he was talking and you could tell that he was not melanated, but the call was kind of funny. He sounded like, a West Coast dude just talking, I'm getting ready to, if I can't get Medicare, forget him. I'm getting ready to roll me up a fat one and I'm getting ready to just chill for a while because he wasn't eligible. So my then supervisor, she was my supervisor at that time, was pulled that call to listen to that call. And when she pulled that call to listen to that call, she felt emboldened to say, because I think she had smoked a fat one that morning of, and she was like, I was just waiting on him to call you his N-word. I almost said it. Oh, I almost said it. And then she blatantly said it several times within a conversation that her then boyfriend, I guess, and his friends talked about it, said it quite frequently. And she threw the word around in our conversation so many times my head was swimming. After the conversation, I spoke to upper management, and I told the manager at that time, I ain't gonna call names right now because I'm just not gonna call names right now because I'm sure he didn't know how to handle it either because he was like, no. I told him what happened. I told him the events that happened in the conversation, and because I have some human resources background, I don't understand why he did not immediately remove me from her team, because the incident itself was bad enough. It forced me, my immediate thought was, who does she think she is? After I realized I can't control who she thinks she is, it made me question, then who am I? I am and I'm just gonna basically say it. I'm a child who grew up in a household that felt like I had to fight for everything, and I fought a lot. I was born with blonde hair. I'm a light-skinned yellow girl in a family of brown-skinned and dark-skinned people, but I was born with blonde hair. So I had my own struggles. But I went to foster care as a teenager. I quit school, so I'm a high school dropout. I got my GED. I went on to raise 2 beautiful children of my own, quite a few others, and I went to college and I got a degree at college. I got a bachelor's degree. So I decided that after years of working in healthcare, not really being able to assist people with, having astronomical bills and hearing people cry because they couldn't pay their medical bills, and even talking to people who said that the hospital had took a lien out on their home. I mean, all sorts of stuff. I decided I wanted to go at it from a different angle. And the different angle that I went at it was I studied and I got my insurance license. And once I got my insurance license, I felt like I could help from a different angle. So at that point, I felt like I was somewhat accomplished in some different areas. Now, when all of that happened, I had to go inward. I sunk into a very deep depression, because when you grow up in the conditions that I grew up in emotionally, it causes you to have a lot of excess baggage, not necessarily understanding why all of these horrible feelings were coming up within me. It took me to a different place. It really took me to a different place. After the week that the incident happened was my grandson's and my daughter's birthday week. I had guests coming in from out of town. I had a lot of stuff going on. I didn't even focus on it at that point. A week later, I decided I'm going to focus on it a little bit, and I was not given a choice because she called me in for a one-on-one. Now, I'm thinking that she called me in for a one-on-one. It's going to be cool because someone else's name was on the meeting invite. The individual's name that was on the meeting invite had death in his family, and he was not able to be there. The proper thing to do would have been to postpone it, reschedule it for a different time, but she felt so emboldened, so like she could handle it, till we went on with the one-on-one, just she and I. I remained professional as long as I possibly could. Well, throughout the whole conversation, I think I remained professional. But after the one-on-one, she could tell that I was uncomfortable, and she could tell that I was not myself, to the point to where she said, because I didn't even have my face on camera. And she says, and I posted this on my social media as well as on every social media outlet that I could. And she says in the beginning of where I started taping it at was, "Let me see those lips again." Okay. So I lean up into the camera and we have a conversation. You know, she's making jokes about it. And I say, "Well, we have something that we need to discuss. We have a problem. We need to get beyond this. We have a problem." During the conversation, she wants to know if it's okay. I mean, why do I feel a certain way about her saying the N-word? Well, for one, we're in a professional setting. For two, you're not melanated. For three, that word is an insult coming from anyone that's not melanated. To me, it's a word that is rooted and grounded in malice, in disrespect, in disgrace, in so many different things that I can't understand why this company would not immediately terminate her for even having the conversation, because the video that I posted, I also sent them a copy of it. The human resources guy says to me, "We gave you the day off with pay. What more did you want?" So nonetheless, it forced me to go within to find out who I am, what I want people to perceive me as, how I want to show up on the scene. I was so depressed, and I'm gonna just say it, and I hope I don't get teary-eyed because I don't have a Kleenex or a napkin here, and I feel like I did not eat for days. I forced myself to eat. I ended up losing a lot of weight. Well, I didn't start losing weight then. I had to force myself to eat. So in forcing myself to eat, I convinced myself that I only needed to eat one meal a day. So I went into my only eating one meal a day, which as I dealt with the mental ramifications of the situation, I had a therapist. I got me a therapist. I got a psychiatrist. I ended up being on a few different medications. This was a very hard time for me. And in the midst of all of that was going on, it was annual enrollment time, which if you know anything about Medicare and you receive all those 10,000 calls a week, then you understand that is where most Medicare sales agents make the majority of their money. Me coming from a first-year sales agent who was in the top 10 of the organization, it set me back. It really set me back. Every morning I had to sit in a meeting and hear her voice. Every time she said something, all I could hear was her saying, and I almost called you Ma. It was hard for me. It was very hard for me. With the organization not addressing the situation, to the point that 2 weeks after that incident, she was no longer just a supervisor. She got a promotion to senior manager. Did you reward her for bad behavior? That situation is one of many situations that changed my life. In dealing with that and dealing with all of the things that came along with it, I was able to, and I am so thankful to the Most High and to the universe and to my ancestors for showing me how much of a help that I am to others. How much that what I went through could be helpful to others. It forced me to deal with a lot of things. It took me back to being in the 4th grade when Miss Childs at Outer Rankin Elementary School in Mount Holly kicked me and told me I wasn't going to act like a little niglet in her class. But it also forced me to look at how people around me handled me also. It showed me a lot. That situation catapulted Wisdom Reborn in a force that the world is not ready for. I promise you the world is not ready for me. Not this me. The hurt, the anger, the disappointment, the disrespect has forced me to understand that the situations that I have been through are not only learning experiences for me, but should also be learning experiences for others. If you know me, and if you've known me through my teaching years, whether it was through the schools or the after school program or church or working with kids, then you will understand that I have always said experience is the best teacher, but let's let someone else's experience teach you so that you don't have to learn the lesson the hard way. Yep. Now, in 2025, because this happened in November, it happened in November of 2022, with DEI going, the diversity, equity, and inclusion being swept up under the rug, and with racism, and I don't even necessarily want to say racism, because, I don't want to use the word racism. I want to say the attack on melanated people. With the attack on melanated people being what it is now in 2025, that experience that I had is going to help somebody else. It has to. Hold your composure. Don't allow it to take you out of who you've grown to be, who you've worked hard to be, because I worked very hard to be a professional. My younger years, up until I was like 30, woo, child, I was off the chain. When I tell you I was off the chain, I was off the chain. in so many different ways in my work life as well as in my personal life. I've told you I'm not going to paint a picture of me being an angel all my life. I'm not an angel now because I ain't going to tell you what I just did. I'm not an angel now. But what I am is an individual who has come to understand that these obstacles, they don't come to break us, they come to make us stronger. Now, why today am I sharing this? The organization, I contracted an attorney, and we filed the necessary paperwork and everything, went through the EEOC, did everything that I was supposed to do. Their attorneys told my attorney, we really want to negotiate. We want to mediate. We want to go into arbitration. We need to get this worked out. The company would like for you to put the lawsuit on hold. We followed he followed after many conversations. He did some research, and the research showed that we could put the lawsuit on hold without prejudice. Without prejudice meaning that we could go back into it at a later time, within a set time period, which we did. We did all of that. But their attorneys manipulated the system till they're used to this. Their corporate America is used to this. The attorneys, the judges, all of them, they have a way of doing these things that is unscrupulous. That is where they can do things under the law, under different loopholes, but that they are protected, which they're supposed to be. They really are supposed to protect themselves. However, at what point are we held accountable for how we treat others? At what point do corporations need to consider the workforce? Because when I tell you, I made a lot of money working with them, but they made a hell of a lot more money by me working with them. Were they concerned with the fact that that situation could possibly cause one of their top salespeople to go into a depression, to not perform at their previous standards? They did not give a damn. Not at all. Not at all. Man, when I tell y'all. So I'm telling you all of this because circumstances and situations are going to come up in your life. They are going to make you feel like you are hopeless. They are going to make you feel like you are not worthy. They are going to make you feel like you are spinning your wheels in mud and you ain't getting nothing but muddy. The universe has a bigger plan for you. Don't let them get you off your square. My daddy told me that long time ago, as long as you stay on your square, which means with your guard up, which means with a stance of ready for it, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. I will say, had that conversation taken place in a conference room instead of across a Zoom, it probably would have been, there's no probably to it. It would have been different. It would have been real different. But as my beautiful goddaughter, when I was discussing it with her this morning, told me, yeah, Aunt Nene, it would have been different, but, you wouldn't have been able to maintain your professionalism. You wouldn't have had the proof that you had to show that this woman said these things, because on that video, she blatantly says, yes, I said it. And I'm not going to stop saying it. I'm not going to apologize for it. It's in the rap music. It's on TV. It's everywhere. And I'm going to keep on saying it. And I hope that she does. I hope that if she's still alive, I heard she had a lot of health issues shortly after that. I heard that she went through some tremendous health issues, lost all her hair, lost. I don't even want to. I can't. I'm not gonna laugh about it because it's not funny. I just know that the universe repays. They repay, and like she received what she got, that organization is going to receive to a degree. It's going to happen. There's no way it's not going to happen. And in the midst of all of that, I can hold my head up high, wear this size medium shirt that they sent to me being funky, and I can smile because that situation forced me to realize, ooh, what a force I actually am. So before this morning, when I got the news that the court case would not be, they would not take on the court case, I was doing a little studying, doing a little preparation for what I was going to say to y'all after taking the weekend off. And what I was coming up with was about the truth. The truth is going to be the truth, and it cannot set you free until you realize it is the truth. So the truth of the matter is, I have realized that I am one hell of a woman. I am divine feminine. I am far more than what that organization considered me to be. I also was thinking about wisdom. Wisdom is timeless. It doesn't change. It's not gonna change. The situation and the circumstance may change, but wisdom, it's gonna always be wisdom. Ever since the beginning of time, it stands flat-footed, 10 toes down, and it's wisdom. And any situation that you are in that forces you to gain a level of wisdom is a win. If it forces you to look at the truth, and the truth of the matter is, as melanated people, there is a direct attack upon us in every aspect of life. We should not dwell on it. We should rise above it. And by rising above it, it means walking with your head up high, understanding that there are forces and there are situations and circumstances that we're going to deal with that are held in possession of those principalities, that wickedness, that evilness in high places, but that because we are chosen to be more than just an N-word to somebody, we can handle the situation and we can come out, maybe not unscathed, because when I tell you the depression, the crying all the time, I went through a time period where my grandson would knock on my bedroom door when we were living together, knock on my bedroom door just to see, Yaya, are you okay? Yaya is okay. Now, the more persecution you come up against, the more power you should have. Because every opportunity to empower you generally comes from situations that were meant to make you fall. Circumstances that were meant to make you stumble. Make sure your footing is right. Make sure you stay on your square. Make sure you are ready so you don't have to get ready. And all of that comes from taking the situations and the circumstances that are set before us to destroy us and using them to empower us to be the force that we all have within us. Within me, there is a force that I never knew I had. a level of strength that I never knew I had. However, had I been one of those people that kept going and never took the time to stop and do the shadow work and reflect upon the things that I've been through, reflect upon the things that were set before me to make me stumble, I would have never known. I would have never known. So my suggestion to you today is to reflect upon where you came from. Reflect upon the things that have caused you to go into defensive mode. Because it's game on. And those things that make you go into defensive mode, that means you're protecting something. You, what's in you, your will, your desires, your dreams. We get defensive for those things. Continue to stay on your square. Stay ready so you don't got to get ready. Yep, that's about it. From Wisdom Reborn, to my beautiful ones, my wise ones, and my melanated ones. But y'all know it's especially for my beautiful, my wise, and my melanated ones. Why? Because we got to maneuver in not in a world system, in multiple world systems that are set up to make us think that we are not worthy, that are set up to make us think that we cannot move forward, that are set up to make us think that we are defeated. And I done told y'all, we are not defeated, we are not victims, we are triumphant, and we are victors. Just a little something. January 27th, 2025. Blessings, blessings, and more blessings.